Hello guys, welcome back to my video. It's been a while since I did one of these videos, but I do have some updates to share with you guys, as well as some information regarding setting up the crayfish tanks, because I see that there's been a lot of interactions with my previous videos and questions through DMs, and I can answer those questions throughout this video and then the next ones and so on and so forth. So as you can see in this tank, I have like a separation thingies in this 20-gallon tank. This tank used to look different, but now it looks all separated only because now these guys are, you know, grown to like adult size where you can identify their claws are like really, you know, nice and everything, and their antennas are perfect. And I just wanted to make sure that these guys are always maintaining their perfect look. And the crayfishes in this 20-gallon tank that I have are the ones that I prize the most, and I think have the most perfect looking bodies and the claws. So another reason that I separated them is because at around this size and age, they tend to get very aggressive and like very interested in other crayfishes, as well as the territories and spots in the tank. So since they're so aggressive at this point of their lives, they do fight and try to kill each other and eat each other. But some of these guys are actually really perfect looking, like this guy has, you know, beautiful claws and the perfect antennas, and he's, you know, active and everything. So I just wanted to keep that with the crayfishes that I keep in this tank. And I do have like tags on top of it, if you guys can see. Like, so 7/21, which is yesterday's. Today is July 22nd, 2023. But B means boy. And over here, it's G, 1G, meaning girl. So I have 4 boys. So 1, 2, 3, 4 male crayfishes, and then 1 female crayfish in here. So that one is actually hiding back behind the rocks that you can't see. But this is the 20-gallon fish tank that I have, and the reason that I separated them, as I said, is because at this point of their lives, they get very aggressive and very, you know, curious of other crayfishes, so they tend to be more aggressive towards that and, you know, attack each other and try to eat each other. And right below that is my another 20-gallon tank, but this in this 20-gallon tank I have smaller size crayfishes, and they are also separated, but I do have multiple crayfishes in each separated sections. For instance, in this section right here, so 1G, 1B, so I have 1 girl and 1 boy. So as you can see, that's probably the girl, and that's the boy. I can tell by the look of their claws, but that's the male and that's the female. And right next to it, I have, let me see, 2G and 1B. So 2 females and one male. So one is over there, just hanging out over there. And I'll explain you guys why I have all the rocks and the setup the way I do. So in this tank, in this section, I have 1G and 1B. And then on this section, I have 1G and 1B. So, okay, to explain why I have multiple crayfishes in this sectioned off 20-gallon tank is because my goal for this tank is to breed and produce females with eggs. So I actually introduced the male and female yesterday. So it's only actually been a day since they've been together, and none of the crayfishes have lost their claws or anything except for this one actually. This one lost his claw because it molted yesterday and unfortunately it got attacked. And I did leave this one by itself, but then like multiple males like actually somehow crawled into this section, and I think bit it off, fought it off. But anyway, so that's the reason why I've sectioned it off to, you know, for breeding purposes. And the reason that I have multiple rocks and whatnot is to provide hiding spaces and like barricades between crayfishes in case one gets aggressive towards another, as well as the plants, the plant looking things, is to provide like hiding spaces and, you know, barricades against other crayfishes when they feel threatened or endangered. So these two are the 20-gallon tanks that I have set up. They're regular looking tanks, but with more perfect and more, beautifully grown crayfishes. And right next to it, I have the 75-gallon tank. This tank definitely looks a little more different. So I set it up so that it looks more natural now. I have two fishes in there. I think those are called like blue ram or something like that. So this is what it looks like, more natural looking, more peaceful looking, and compared to the previous setup. And as you can see in this tank as well, I do have multiple crayfishes in here. So in this tank, I have way more crayfishes than other tanks, only because this is more of a community fish tank. There's a giant in there you can't quite see because it's so dark. But I do have multiple males and females in here just living their lives. But yeah, so this is the 75-gallon tank that I, decorated like this, more natural. So when my visitors or friends or colleagues come over, they can kind of enjoy the view. But the purpose of the previous setup, the 75-gallon tank that I had previously, was for breeding purposes, like to have multiple different hiding spaces and whatnot. But this one is more natural looking and for viewing purposes. However, this tank also does have a lot of hiding spaces. Like you can see the tunnels still exist, large tunnels for larger ones, and then a bunch of rocks and plants, as well as in the corner I have the long plant to provide more secret hiding spaces for these crayfishes, and then this log in the center to have other crayfishes escape or roam around, as well as those little nooks and crannies for these guys to hide. And on this side as well, I have multiple different tunnels, but they're simply less visible compared to the other tank, the previous setup that I had. And that was the purpose of this tank. I wanted to make this tank more, I guess, more like natural looking for just the ease of viewing these guys. But I still breed, as you can tell by these tanks. And right next to the 75-gallon tank, I have the 20-gallon tank that looks a little, halfway decent right now. It's more like it has more open areas. I have the sand set up and the grass in the back, and a couple of guppies, pregnant guppies, and baby guppies flying around, and bunch of baby crayfishes. So there you go. There's one over there, there's one back there, oh, there's one over there. There's multiple baby crayfishes in here that are anywhere from maybe a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. Except for this guy. This guy's about like 1.5 inches. The only reason that I kept him in here in this 20-gallon tank is because he's so social. He doesn't seem too aggressive towards other crayfishes, so I decided to leave him in here. But the purpose of this 20-gallon tank, the only reason that I don't have any sections or too many hiding spaces in this tank is because this is a place where adult buried crayfishes come to give birth to all the baby crayfishes and then leave. So this 20-gallon tank only houses to certain size, to maximum maybe 1/2 inch, and then I put him in a different tank, which I'll show you in the next video and explain my breeding process. But yeah, so I do have a buried crayfish, female crayfish in there, as you can see. Yeah, this one is completely buried. I think it has around anywhere from 200 to 300 eggs underneath its belly. And yeah, so this tank, once she gives birth, I'm gonna take her out. Most likely gonna put her in here only because she lost both of our claws in the process of like molting, which doesn't qualify her to be in this beautiful tank with other beautiful crayfishes, only because these two tanks are for the crayfishes that show off the best features when it comes to crayfishes, like the claws, the antennas, the coloration and everything. So some of these guys are qualified to be moved into the 20-gallon tanks, but definitely not like this guy or that guy or this guy, because this one doesn't have any claws, this one is missing one, this one has relatively too small of claws compared to its body size. But yes, so this is the update to my fish tank, and why I have 20 gallons sectioned off. But yeah, just to explain the whole process and the update, I just wanted to show you guys the room like this. But thank you for watching, and in the next video I'll explain to you guys the process of my my breeding process and how I package them and why I have certain things set up the certain way, so you guys can learn and get to know how and why I have things the way they do and how they work so perfectly. So thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.